Hi, I'm John Doerr.
I'm Ryan Panchadsaram.
And I'm Anjali Grover.
In 2021, I wrote Speed and Scale to show how greenhouse gas emissions can be cut to net zero by 2050 to save a livable planet. Our plan lays out 10 objectives to zero out emissions before it's too late. Now our team is sharing the latest data on speedandscale.com to assess global progress towards this monumental goal. Our updated tracker shows exactly where the world is making strong progress, where we're lagging, and most important, where to go from here. Since we last took the measure of our emissions crisis, it has only grown more dire. 2023 was the hottest year in human history. Our goal is to cap global warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius, the best case scenario to avoid a climate catastrophe. The window for 1.5 degrees is still open, but just barely.
Let's start with the good news. Over these last 3 years, we've seen unprecedented progress in clean energy innovation and deployment. EV sales have boomed since 2019. Renewables are up exponentially. Investment in clean tech has soared, and there's a wave of commitments from top emitters. But the world is in a different place than when the Speed and Scale plan was first published in 2021. The war in Ukraine has disrupted energy markets. Rising inflation and higher interest rates are making new energy projects, notably wind and solar, more costly. And fundamentally, the world remains tied to fossil fuels. Based on current national policies, gas and oil production will keep expanding to 2030 with no substantial cuts in sight for decades to come. As a result, the world is now burning twice the amount of fossil fuels consistent with a 1.5 degree trajectory.
Halfway through this decisive decade, we can still turn this story around. In fact, we already have all the clean technologies we need to cut emissions by close to 50% by the end of the decade, the make or break for net zero by 2050. What we need is a plan to deploy those technologies in time and to develop the ones we'll need for the future. Some say that net zero by 2050 is a pipe dream, that we're too far down the road to save ourselves. But recent history suggests otherwise. Since 2014, around the time countries began to take serious action to cut their emissions, projected global warming has dropped 1.2 degrees Celsius. Remarkable world-changing progress. Now we need to reduce it 1.2 degrees more. But we believe it's still doable if the world acts with more urgency and more ambition.
We can't manage what we don't measure. In this 2024 Speed and Scale update, we'll give you the latest word on each of our objectives and precisely where they stand. We'll define the challenges ahead and what remains to get done.